Good morning, traders. Sorry about the delay here. Could you give me a mic check, please? Make sure that this is working properly. Sorry about the delay. Um, yeah, it's weird. The sound is cutting out for some reason. In any case, this is episode number 2373. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Let me know if the sound cuts out. It keeps cutting out. As I said, test again on a different mic here. Um, Sorry about this. This is a brand new computer and it's just acting up with this microphone. I guess further testing is warranted here. Um, Not sure what is wrong. In any case, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear right now. And let's get into it. It's already late. Um, this morning we have a market that's again opening in a mixed posture. Several news items in the overnight session, U.S. recession risk rising, and we have a Russian deputy foreign minister saying that Russia's nuclear deterrence forces are on full alert. Now, Russia's played this nuclear card quite a bit lately. Yes, I see the videos lagging. I appreciate that. There seems to be a lot of jitter on the line here, although the internet hasn't changed, but this thing is certainly not behaving very well. We'll look into it. Uh, in terms of news, we got the unemployment numbers this morning, or initial claims numbers this morning, came in at 230,000, exactly as expected. Continuing claims are higher at 1.671 million versus 1.6 million expected. And then the other news is Apple supplier Foxconn lifted the COVID curbs in their Zhangzhou facility. This is a facility where protests were happening, deaths and so on, to bring you the wonderful iPhone. And then finally, Twitter's considering new margin loans backed by Tesla. It sounds like good money after bad on that one. Looking at the S&P this morning, we have basically a multi-distribution, almost a trend profile, really. Before we dig into that, I do want you to vote. There was an issue with the voting this morning again. Um, Again, it is on a new PC and things aren't operating as they're supposed to. But no, for a minute there, the form was not live. It should be right now. Please take a moment to vote so that we can go through and put on some positions in CME's event contracts. We're looking for a minimum of 100 votes. We've been getting about 175, 150 to 175 votes. Take a minute to do that. The link is in your YouTube live chat. And you can go to eclear.me/event-voting and tell us what you think, how you think the market will settle today. The NQ number is weird. I agree wholeheartedly with that. It looks like the settlement price is not correct. Let me fix that for you. It's 11,506. Here's the NQ. If you refresh your screen, you'll get the right number. The settlement price for the NQ yesterday is 11,509 and a half. I appreciate you pointing that out. If you refresh, you'll get the right number now. A lot to handle this morning, and clearly some errors were made. I apologize. It's kind of sloppy of me. Let's get back to reviewing what's going on in the markets. The S&P has traded 217,000 contracts so far. It has a trending profile. The S&P has actually pushed through yesterday's high. 52% of the inventory is long, and we've got about 50 points of range. So pretty decent coming into today's session. The point of control at 39.41. Basically somewhat in line with yesterday's point of control. Let's take a quick, oh, by the way, crude is just taking a pretty decent pop higher. We'll look at that for a minute. Here's what's going on in the S&P so far. So we've had a pretty decent impulse down, a continuation impulse lower. Yesterday was an inside day. We did not challenge the low yesterday. We did so in the overnight session here, and we rejected those prices, pushed higher, immediately consolidated in the middle, formed what was basically a P-shaped profile for a while, and we just broke out to the upside. We're breaking higher. We broke above yesterday's high, which is up here, and we're falling back in. What we're doing here after the sell-off is consolidating. We're going through a consolidation, basically a bear flag type of setup. I'm still looking to the short side. I'm still relatively bearish on the action here so far. I don't see I didn't see any good lifting yesterday, but I didn't see good selling either. Yesterday basically rested right against that 39, 40, 50 area that we've talked about in the past. So a little bit more clear is the market profile chart. So we make this turn and we put in lower highs, setting up our one-time framing down. We still have a lower high yesterday, although it's an inside day with a higher low, but all we care about is, does it take the high to reverse the trend? The higher low does not reverse the trend. And you could see that yesterday was completely balanced in this very, very heavy zone. And I'm expecting it to come right, well, it's already come back into the point of control here. We're likely to push into, if you recall, the 3970 from below. That's from here, the 3970 from below. We do have single prints going a little bit higher, but today really not much more than uh, probably another consolidation, kind of an impulse pullback, potential continuation type action here. So as we look at the market and how it's trading, and the fact that we have left yesterday's settlement and point of control beneath us, buyers are in control in the overnight session. We're likely to chop or grind our way back into the 3970, 3980 area, potentially fix some of the structures here, get into this low that we left behind from 2 or 3 days ago. But overall, I'm expecting it to kind of be stuck down here. This brings us into PPI tomorrow. Tomorrow, the US PPI is expected to come out, and that's likely to cause the market to reprice. And then next week we have the FOMC on Wednesday. On Tuesday we get CPI, and that's very likely to cause the market to reprice. But what I'm seeing in the overall structure, just stepping out of our usual time frame, which is day trading, what I'm seeing is that um, we are we have rejected these higher prices, and I'm seeing the action. Look at the action here. Does it look like it's rejecting that low? It does not look like it's rejecting that low. So I'm expecting this thing to extend lower. And we had talked about the strong potential for a move into the 39, the 39.30, 38.30, 38.20 area down below to fill this area in right here. This is the weak structure, poorly auctioned area down below. So we would have to clear this low volume node here. Okay, so the way the auction works is we are likely to test into the low volume node right here. We couldn't retest at 39.14 yesterday. We put a low of 39.14, which is this low in the overnight session, but we couldn't retest it in the day session. The day session low was 24 and a quarter, 10 points higher. But if we get into this 39.14 and then slip through, what we would do is clear this low volume node, LVN, on the composite, and then we're back into this kind of blunt balance between the 3900 and the 3840 to get down into this other low volume node here, which is the side that I'm expecting us to test. So we have relatively weak structure beneath us if we clear the 3914. If we can get through the 3914, we're likely to see it kind of trickle down relatively quickly. So that's where that stands. Looking at this from the intraday perspective, here's how yesterday ran. Oh, it's really annoying how jittery this camera is. It's the same camera. It's the one that we gave away from EdgeClear, the 4K Logitech camera. So here's how we did yesterday. Yesterday, completely sideways, relatively weak action yesterday in terms of buyers. Like the buyers came in early, tested, pulled back, retested, but throughout the session, it really had a hard time holding these higher prices and kept falling below and holding below the mid and VWAP for the entire session. This morning, coming into the Globex, it checked below yesterday's low, but also checked above yesterday's high and is kind of falling into the initial balance from yesterday, giving me this indication that despite the trend up in the overnight session, there really isn't any conviction. I'll show you why. If we look at the relative delta, what is this saying? So this is today right here. Remember, I'm in Chicago, so it starts at 5 o'clock p.m. instead of 6, and you can see that the ES has tested down, has come back to basically the open right here, and you can see that Delta was playing along small lots and came back to the open, but since then the price has remained above the overnight session open, the Globex open, right? So price has remained above, but look at the delta. The delta has crossed below the zero line right in here and is really trending down. So as we're climbing, delta is pushing to new lows. And to me, that trend up in the overnight session doesn't have much conviction. So it's likely to see more balance coming into today. Again, 39.70 is the area we're expecting to test, and we couldn't get there. We went to 39.65. Yesterday, the prices that you should recall from yesterday's session were 55 to 60. So those of you who are in the Convergent chat room, we looked at a trade into this area right here, and that's the trade that's set up. So we went to 57 on the open. We put in an IB high of 57.75, right in that 55 to 60 sandwich that that we talked about in the trader bite. We went right in there and we could see that there was a lot of friction between the buyers and the sellers in that area, and then it started to roll over and it created this fantastic opportunity to trade this primary scenario. And the primary scenario from yesterday is to push into 55.60, somewhere in there, and then to stall out and then look for the short back. And I was really looking for a short um, into the 39.14. It just didn't happen. So we ended up pushing down into 24 and a quarter, and then swinging all the way back up, kind of pushing us out of that trade. So that was the only thing I saw yesterday that was clean, and it happened early on, and it happened exactly per plan. Today, I'm expecting more of the same. So we're pushing into the stock zone up here in that 60 area, 60, 65 area, and we're pulling back into the range. Today, the most obvious trade, given the context of balance, and I've explained to you just now in the last 10 minutes why the context is balance. In the context of balance, the most important trade this morning is a gap to settle. And if it's trading at 39.55 and the settlement price is down at 36.75, it's giving us about 19, 18 points of range from where we are now. And I'm going to be looking for, what am I specifically looking for this morning? I'm looking for the order flow. When it starts to push up this morning, I'm looking for very labored friction up. So that, I can't go over what that looks like. We're out of time. We talked about this in, if you're a Convergent member, we talked about this in detail in the trade talk on Tuesday. I strongly, strongly recommend you go look at the trade talk from Tuesday. We looked in real time at how this looks. You have a lot of friction, a lot of big dots, big trade dots going on, but price is not developing, price is not moving, and that creates an opportunity for a short, and it squeezes the longs out, and I'm expecting it to rotate down into the 39.36. So on the open today, I'm looking for this thing to attempt to push higher and really have a very hard time in this zipper zone here. I'm expecting it to try to push higher, and as soon as it starts to roll over, I'm looking for a short down into the 36, as mentioned, way below. So that creates an opportunity for about 20 points right away. After that, I'm expecting chop, balance, or something until we have an impulse or a clean breakout from this range. That's all I have for you. Please take a moment to go vote. Let's see how many of you voted. Let's look at the report. All right. All right. Looks like we got 100 votes. We got a little over 100 votes. If you have not voted, please do so. eclear.me/event-voting. Remember, we're voting so we can put on these positions in the CME event contracts. A great product, in my opinion, for avoiding stop outs for on a cash basis. So it looks like the majority of you for the ES, there's 28% with a high confidence yes. There's 52% with a yes. For the NQ, you have 22% with a high confidence yes, 58% with a yes. So we'll be looking for calls. We'll be buying calls in the event contracts for crude oil, whether or not it'll settle above 72.01. There's 52% of you saying yes and 25% saying high confidence yes. And so we'll be buying calls there as well. So as soon as we're done here, I'll get on and buy those calls and put them into the charity account, the balance of which will be donated. At the end of the month, it's approximately $10,000 will be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research, Cancer Research Hospital, and appreciate your participation in it. Thanks so much, and sorry about the technical issues. Take care.